Technical difficulties always, especially when I go live. So apparently you can now hear me. We've had to reboot, modems and internet and all kinds of things several times. But we're going to surprise the deep state a little bit today. It's not going to be too bad for them. We're going to give you some information based on a lot of things that we're hearing. So for the last several reports, I've been giving a lot of information, locations, different sites that things are happening right now. Like within 24 to 48 hours of the report, I'm telling you pretty much blow by blow of what's happening in the world. It's something that you're not really getting from anywhere. I know that there are a lot of other people on giving quote unquote intel and that type of thing. But I can tell you, you don't hear it like you hear it here. And I'm saying this because, well, that also makes me a really big target. And I've been a pretty high target now for a long time, but the last week or two has been, let's just say, a lot. It's a lot to take in over here and still do my job. So we're going to talk a little bit about some mainstream stuff. And the reason why I'm doing that, just a tiny bit, the reason why I'm doing that is because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I can't stress to all of you enough, and for some of you this might be a little bit repetitive, I can't stress to all of you enough that what you see in mainstream media is for your consumption. This is not ongoing operations. This is not deep state disclosure. If you are listening to alternative media, you might hear some surface level stuff that they find interesting to pass on to their people who relay intel. But it's not real intel like you get here. I mean, we tell you pretty much where they are almost in real time, at least within 48 hours of when they're there. And we know a lot of secrets that, things that people don't tell you. And I know a lot of you might be a little bit confused about that. And I say this because I get a lot of messages every day. I get messages from some people talking about not just the United States, but other countries, telling me how they believe they can fix said country. A lot of people would like to tell me how to do that. I get a lot of people saying, well, look, if you could just do some projects and here and there, everything will be great. And well, that's not really the case. Not only that, it's going to put those people in harm's way. Then there are other people telling me about government narratives, and how much they hate Israel. But is it really Israel that you hate? No, it's not. It's not Israel as a plot of land. It's not Israel as a government. It's not Israel as a military. Israel is a territory, meaning it's a territory of non-Israeli born people. In general, never has been since the country name was mentioned in biblical times. It has never, ever been the Israeli people, nor the Jewish people or anything, or the Islamic people in another country. It has never been any of those people. But it seems to me that even from people that watch the reports, they want to tell me that what I'm saying is, oh, you don't understand, Israel's doing this. Israel's not doing anything at all. The Israeli government's not doing anything. Netanyahu's not doing anything. To be fair, let's just kind of lay it out there. As I said the other day, every government, because we're live now, so there is no president, head of state, prime minister, House of Representatives, parliaments, Dumas, or otherwise, who has not participated in what you would consider to be unsavory practices and special parties where there are underage people present. I'm trying to say this as politically correct as I can for this channel that we're on. There are no people in government who do not have what they call a blackmail file. Blackmail files are created before anyone becomes head of state, and they start doing that when they decide years ahead of time who is going to be the head of state. I've said this several times, yet I still get emails and texts saying, Israel is bombing Syria. No, Israel is not bombing Syria. Israel is being used to bomb Syria currently at this moment. They are also used to bomb Iran. They were also used to do a lot of things in the Middle East. They are also one of the few countries in the world who did not sign the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. Israel is bombing Syria right now. That's what, someone wanted to inform me of that the other day. So that was actually yesterday. Number one, obviously, we get the information in real time. So this isn't new for us. Number two, about a year ago, and I will reiterate this information because it's important right now. What is important to the actual deep state? Now, pretty much every head of state is a deep state actor. What does that mean to be a deep state actor? That means you actually take a job with a script, just like you do in Hollywood, and you talk on TV. That's what you do. You don't make any decisions whatsoever on your own. You do not save a country or destroy a country or create a coup or anything like that. It doesn't matter if you are from Tonga, Togo, the United States, Russia, Israel, Syria, Iraq, Iran, UK. You don't like those people talking on TV, and that's fine. They're supposed to play that role. You're not supposed to like those people, or you're supposed to like the head of state of another country. That's it. As far as militaries are concerned, and we're going to take a little bit of a deep diving into militaries today, just to reiterate and put some information together for you so that you understand that no decision has ever been made to bomb a country by any member of the military. Ever. Or to create a war, or to end a war. No one, ever. No one ever won a war. No military that you have seen in the public has ever won a war. No country has ever won a war. Because it isn't really a war. These things are all pre-decided and predetermined up to decades ahead of time. This is for your entertainment. Unfortunately, it harms a lot of people, and I understand that. But you have to come to terms with where we are at. Because really, the reason why we do these reports is, well, yeah, sometimes we play with the deep state a little bit. Sure we do. But really, I put these reports out for you. For the people. Because it's time. It's time for you to understand that your focus on all of these things is not going to change your life. It's not going to change the world. You are not going to get on a plane, although some people have, and tried to fight a fake war with somebody. It's real when you're on the ground, and I understand that. But it doesn't... no one helps or harms the situation. No one. No soldier. No one. I understand that there are many young adults that join the militaries all across the world, and in some countries, many young children that join the military too. I understand they believe they're fighting for their freedom, their country, their family legacy. I understand all of that. But honestly, it's a waste of time. Really, it is. See, if I was going to say one thing to military personnel all around the world, I would tell you that you are putting yourself in harm's way. And I can tell you, it's not for God, it's not for country, and it's certainly not for the freedom of your family and loved ones. It's not. Never has been. If I could say one line, that's what I would tell you. I'm going to tell you more about why I know that is true today. I thought I'd take a little bit of time to give information that would be relevant to help you make those decisions if you are with a military or thinking about joining a military. I thought it would also be prudent to send the people that keep sending me these messages like Israel bombed Syria, oh no. It is oh no because people are harmed. But both sides agreed to do this. Actually, they didn't agree to do anything. They were told to do it. This is now going to happen, they basically said. And it's all a part of a much larger war, so to speak, that's actually being played out that involves very few humans on this planet. And the ones that are involved have no clue what they're fighting for. They don't even have a clue where to go. Honestly, until we say something, they don't have a clue. Whether that's me talking to you on a report or it's me talking to someone on the phone. Sometimes I call Tom Melville and talk to him on his phone. Sometimes I call other people. I have conference calls with some other people. Sometimes I'm having a talk on a different way and they interrupt those messages and signals, or try to anyway, to get information as to where to go and what to do and when to do it. Do they have information that comes into their brain at one point in time? Yes, they did. They would get information uploaded into their brain as to where to go and what to do. Now, that hasn't been happening for a while. So everything that you see play out right now is a part of a very old plan. The information that is not in real time, it's not happening in real time. They know about certain days and times when they believe that things may or may not happen. And it's quite frankly driving the world into the toilet because they refuse to give up any kind of power or control. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about power and control for a second, because power and control of a planet or a country is not what you might think it is. And it's obvious to me that a lot of you don't understand that when you tell me that the people are going to fix the country of, for example, Russia or Germany or America or UK. Also, you tells me that you probably haven't been there in some cases, because every country is different. China is very different than the United States, even though they're run by the same people. Pretty much all forms of government are, well, a human experiment. Democracy is a human experiment. Please hear me when I tell you this. It is a human experiment. You're going to tell me, no, I vote. Who's going to vote? We lost the 2020 election because it was rigged. My God, can I stop hearing that on the internet, please? Because it doesn't matter. You've never voted for anything. Maybe you voted in your parent-teacher conferences as to whether or not you were going to keep the lunchroom open for another hour or something. Maybe you voted amongst your communities, as to whether or not you were going to spend money collectively as a group to fix a pothole or something, or something larger in your community. But as far as a government is concerned, you have never made a vote in thousands of years of history. And I'm talking to everyone in every country, everywhere. Until really, truly, COVID happened, and the pandemic happened and we were locked down, there wasn't a whole lot of influence, on your life, other than the fact that the taxes and, they're high and we don't like them, as people in general. We think we're going to argue about where our taxpayer dollars are going, but you really aren't. Really, in any way. You're not fighting for the things you're fighting for. And I thought I would take this live to kind of explain that to people, because we are appearing, and they copy a lot of our stuff, and they put it on a lot of different news channels where there are a lot of other people on there that are not talking about anything we're talking about. And they probably think, well, we want to hear about what's the military action that's going to take place, And matter of fact, leading up to the events of July 1st was one day. Also leading up to the events that were supposed to happen on the 15th of July, which was just a few days ago. Every single channel was telling you the same thing. Military action's happening. Trump is going to do this. That's going to happen. And where are we now? You get all excited for a couple of weeks. We have the latest intel, ex-CIA person that tells you they're an ex-CIA person. You can probably speculate, insert name here, as to who is telling you this stuff. And then we see nothing. We see nothing. Why do people continue to listen? Well, I'll tell you why. Drama. People love drama. It's the whole reason why TMZ exists and all of these magazines that talk about what stars do when they're not online, and who's dating who and who's divorcing who and all of this stuff. We love drama. We just do. We watch it in movies. And half of our entertainment is drama. Half of the things that happen on TikTok is drama. I've never seen more, and I'm not saying that this is a positive in any way, shape, or form, so don't take it the wrong way, but I've never seen more sick people, depressed people, formerly addicted people. Doesn't anybody just talk about anything else? Losing loved ones. I mean, it is the most depressing thing if you're not buying insert latest trend here. So if you're either shopping or you're watching somebody tragedy or something like that. I mean, occasionally you might see, some kind of a tarot card reader or a music, someone playing some music or something like that. But for the most part, a lot of it, it's just drama. It creates fear in, 2 minutes or less. But I guess that's what it's designed to do. I'm telling you all of these things because the government is no different. The government is designed to create drama, narratives, to tell you to feel a certain way, to do a certain thing, to stay in line, to stay under control, to tell you how powerful their police forces are, their militaries are. And if you step out of line, these are the people that are going to come after you. They are not here to protect you in any way, shape, or form. None of these organizations are created to protect you. Now, to be fair, there are a lot of good people who join military or they join a police force in any country, insert name here, it doesn't matter which one, that do have the intention of doing the right thing. They get up every day and they want to save lives. They want to do a good job. Just like doctors, they get up every day and they want to save lives. Unfortunately, they're not given the correct information. They're given a limited amount of knowledge in 7 or 8 years of school, and that is all they know. So, if we're going to change the world, these are fundamental truths that you're going to have to come to terms with and come to grips with. Most of the people that are reporting to me that there was a bombing in, Syria and Israel bombed Syria are nowhere near there. I don't even think if I gave them a map of the world that they could point out where Syria actually is, which accounts for, a lot of people. But they like to, send me the fear. I'm not sure what they're trying to tell me, because we get the information that would set off an alarm in the system, and we get that information in real time. So it looks like this is broken too. Anyway, I was going to use the whiteboard to explain a few things to you, but that's not going to happen now. It's just one day, one tragedy after another today, I got to tell you, as it relates to getting this report out. But I need you to understand these fundamental truths. And I'm going to give you more information as to why I think the things I do, and why I am hoping you understand that the best thing that you can do for yourself and your family, honestly, is focus on taking care of each other. Taking care of people in your community, and then spread it out further than your community to your province. This is the way humanity is going to move forward. Unfortunately, they have divided all of us by color, by nationality, and nobody trusts anybody anymore, and that's all by design. I mean, in a lot of places, we don't even trust our neighbors or the people at the local store. That, too, is a program and a human experiment. See, because they know that if we all get together and we believe the same things, meaning general love and care for one another, meditation or prayer, however you reach the Creator, the whole world would change. So, this report is going to be a little bit different because it has a larger reach. And I know we're live, and obviously things are breaking constantly. Here, I'm going to give this pen away because it's not working. And they're trying to fix it live on air, but that's okay. That's part of being live. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the situation in Syria. We talked for a while about one of the largest deep underground military bases that ever existed on this planet. It's not the largest one, but it is one of the largest ones. Why is it one of the largest ones? Because much like Durango was, I guess, Colorado for a little while, it was also one of the largest places in the omniverse where you could travel literally to every density and every dimension from that location. Were there a lot of humans that got to participate? Well, yeah. On the one hand, there were a lot of the SSP militaries. And please do not confuse the secret space program militaries with the U.S. government face front Space Force. They are not the same. They're not even close to the same. The people that work there are given very little information. And again, they are there to be the front for many operations. Originally, the Space Force in the United States was created in order to get funding from the U.S. government in some of the bills that were funded during the Trump administration, which we did from this office. Believe me or don't believe me, but that's what happened. See, because black ops money was drying up, and that's a multi-trillion-dollar a year black ops program. The secret space program is. And so they had to throw in a real space program, make you think they're doing some progress here. It's no different than all the way back to the days of JFK and walking on the moon. Did NASA send people to the moon? No, NASA did not send people to the moon. People had been going back and forth to the moon for, thousands of years, really. And remember, once you leave here, time is almost irrelevant. Time travel means you're moving from one place to another at a rapid rate. That's it. It means you understand time-space continuums and a lot of quantum physics, and you have permission to do so. And that's part of the thing that has been changing. But as far as Syria is concerned, they believe that this area showed signs recently of coming back online, and therefore everybody wants control of it. Now, if you are Israel, that means you are fighting for the Order of the Dragon. You are fighting for the Rothschilds. You are fighting for the color blue in the Prime Wars. Now, have you ever heard anything about the color blue? Other than maybe you've got some Democrats and some Republicans, and that's all part of the war too. But the main war on this planet is between different groups of people. Some people believe that they are fighting for the light because they were designated to play that role. And I'm talking about even the secret space program folks. Some of them firmly believe they get up every day and they're fighting for the light. They are fighting the other half of the same group in the same organization. It's just like wars, regular human wars. Because those people are fighting for the quote-unquote dark side. And then you've got a bunch of people in the middle that can fight on either side, called the neutrals, which everybody wants to control. As far as you are concerned, you are not privy to any of this information until we give it to you. Because when I say we, I'm talking about me. You've never heard about a lot of this. You've heard about a lot of deep underground military bases, human experimentation, Project Bluebeam, and Project Paperclip, and a lot of Nazi programs and all of that. But I can tell you, long before any of these people ever existed, long before there was a United States, the human experimentation and deep underground military bases existed. Long before we had militaries, these things existed. People were kidnapped, just like in Syria. There were over, probably close to 100,000 people underneath there in jail cells in Syria. And I can see we're breaking up again. Yeah, see? Welcome to a live report with Kim. They don't want me to tell you any of this, I guess. But yes, all of these people that went missing during many wars in the Middle East, not just wars in Syria. I'm talking about people that were kidnapped from Iraq, people that were kidnapped from Iran. And matter of fact, we even gave the countries over there the 2 locations that they could access these facilities and get their citizens back. Do you know how many people went there and made an attempt to rescue anyone, including the alleged new Syrian government that people tried to tell me are not on the program? But I can firmly tell you that they are, because some of those locations were not too far from there. And they could have gone there and gone in there to get people out. Is it spooky in there? Is it weird in there? It's not as weird as it was, I can tell you that right now. But that's because it has a lot of portals to other places. People called them demon-like experiences that they had near some of those locations. We opened the doors. Did anybody leave? No, they're petrified. They've seen the things that walk around down there. I'm not telling you anything that you probably can't find somewhere. Someone had to release this information on some tube somewhere. Some social media site. Maybe they haven't, I don't know. But the point is, no government cares about its citizens. You can insert rebel group here. Doesn't matter who they side with. There's all kinds of rebel groups in the in the Middle East. There's a lot of them in Eastern Europe. There's a lot of them in Asia. There's a lot of them in the United States. We call them the Patriot Community. They're supposed to be fighting for freedom. Well, they're not fighting for anything. You're going around in a circle. And I'm sorry to say that, but you are. They keep talking about over here, they keep talking about sending people to Gitmo. They use all the big names, and that's supposed to make you happy. Releasing the Epstein list will tell you in your mind, if you are not aware, that the government is now protecting our kids. Meanwhile, the second that they get off Twitter and everywhere else, they bring in a young man or a young woman and, well, you know what happens. Epstein Island is not the only island. There are thousands of islands in the Caribbean that are privately owned, and a lot of them have a lot of parties. Epstein is just one. Gitmo is not designed to be a detention facility. I've said this for years. Gitmo has a deep underground military base underneath it. Those people that go there are often used to feed the elite organs if they need an organ replacement or any kind of special medical treatment, adrenochrome, you name it. The people that they take there as a prisoner that are allegedly terrorists and otherwise, it's a med spa down there. Stem cells, you name it, you can get all the treatments we know nothing about that are not available to us. And it's been like that for a long, long time. And you know where I heard that from? The actual being that ran this planet. He laughed. He had a submarine. He used to go there all the time when he would travel in such a way, and I wouldn't call it a normal submarine between you and I. But he used to take women, you know. Remember, a lot of these beings inhabit human bodies from time to time. You know, they want to have the human experience, they call it. And this particular version loved to have women, loved, you know, to take women on to submarines and travel around for 4 or 5 months and do all the things. And a lot of them were quite young. At the same time, they also eat people. So there's that. You know, just take a deep breath and focus on what are you going to do. I want you to all ask yourself this question. What are you going to do? What can you do? Instead of spending 100 hours scanning through fear and tragedy and what governments are doing and what head of state is doing what, other than for a good laugh on occasion, stop. Just stop. Maybe take that hour and go for a walk with your family, or maybe take that hour and develop a community program that's going to work for you and your neighbors. Maybe take that hour and dream a little bigger and figure out what your community really needs and how you can make it great. And here's your project. Maybe, then you are actually doing something that is going to change the world. I guess we don't have a whiteboard. I was going to actually draw pictures of exactly how ingress and egress works with deep underground military bases, but let's talk about it anyway. Apparently they broke my pencil on the iPad. So, yeah, we could go old school and grab one somewhere around here. I don't even know where it is these days. I've been using that one for so long now. Okay, so let's talk about deep underground military bases for a little while. Are there human beings that are going to deep underground military bases to save babies and children? No. Nope. The humans wouldn't dare do something like that. Really. They wouldn't. They operate on their levels. They are permitted as scientists and other people that work underneath there to bring people in and out for human experimentation, sure. But are they actually doing anything? No. Nobody is down there saving any babies. Deep underground military bases, if there are humans that are not working in conjunction with those sites and haven't worked in conjunction with those sites, that are not of use to the people that actually run those bases, that are going in and out, they are definitely used either as food. There are a lot of species that cohabitate in deep underground military bases that eat people. You know, they were a delicacy. Or they are being utilized for further control over the human race. Meaning mind control programs, what works, what doesn't work. Social, there are companies when they're going to launch a new product, they do something called a focus group. Have you ever heard about these? There are consumer focus group companies all over the world, and they will take the latest frying pan or the latest mascara or the latest shoes and Tell them what the shoes do or what the frying pan does and why it's different and that kind of thing. And then these consumers all experiment with whatever it is, and they will tell them what they like about it and what they don't like about it. And with a certain approval rating, then it means that it's time to launch the product, whatever it is. So that being said, you can consider these people that are kidnapped and taken there as unwilling consumer focus groups. You know, how to alter DNA. Do these diseases work? Are they what you call hot spreading diseases, cold spreading diseases? One means that when it hits the air, it burns out very quickly, meaning it won't spread unless it either has a human host, or even if it does, it doesn't stay on the human skin for a long period of time. Or it's a cold burning virus, meaning, well, it can stay around for a long time. Let's just say, and it has the ability to infect a lot of people. They do experimentations not only with DNA and not only with mind control, but also humans have a lot of unique abilities. And I've been telling you this for a few years now, meaning you do not need in your unencumbered form, you do not need a tin can to go from one planet to another. You never did. In your unencumbered form, you can manifest at will without hindrance from a simulation. You can create children in a way that may seem abnormal to you, without a petri dish and a tube and a this and or a spouse or a partner. You can do that. You can do a lot of things. And other species would like to be like you. So therefore, they do a lot of work to either be like you or to be able to control you. Now, one of the programs that you may or may not be aware of that came from these deep underground military bases would be a full consciousness control program set against all of you. They actually use your consciousness to create your environment. But is it really yours? You see, they take all of the things that you would desire, pray for, try to manifest at one point in time, and they twist that consciousness around to be the exact opposite. They had tremendous amount of satellites that would feed information to bases that are corresponding. Now, you have to remember these deep underground military bases, once you get below level 6, that's all not humans. No humans go there. Even the secret space program folks that travel on and off planet, that go from their own base to another base, are only permitted to see certain things. I know they feel like they're in charge, they're in control, they know everything that's going on. Well, you're wrong. I've been telling the deep state that for a long time. They're wrong. I've seen them use them to achieve an agenda and an outcome. I've seen them get them to run around in circles until we literally burn this planet to the ground, or they burn it to the ground. They tell them that they're going to implement a new way, a new type of government, a one world government, and that you're going to be in charge because every one of them will buy it. Their ego's huge. Huge. They should be in charge. I mean, they've been going in and out of these sophons, traveling between bases and wormholes happens between a photon to a photon. It does not, it creates an environment where humans can live. This is not, someone didn't go there with a crane and construct a deep underground military base. And a lot of times, people that are talking to people in these locations are talking to humans because they had technology to actually put information into your head. Even the SSP did. They could give you an entire thought, a dream. They sure missed their dream program as of today for the 9th time. So this is a constant battle. You know, they think that they're battling for power and control. They think that some of these people that use them for experiments, them too, would give them great power. I can tell you right now that that is never going to happen. The deep underground military bases I'm referring to are pretty much in every single country. You hear about a little bit of information about the ones in Denali. You know, people hear about Area 51, 52. You also hear about laboratories, you know, in the U.S. But nobody really talks about all the ones in Crimea. Nobody talks about the ones in Ukraine. Nobody talks about the ones in Russia, Syria, Iraq, Iran, China. There's a lot of stuff in China. Australia, Cameroon, Senegal, Saudi Arabia. They're everywhere. Every country, every landmass on this planet has them. And each one of those works in cooperation with all of the others. Was our first secret space program invented with Project Bluebeam? Absolutely not. No. Matter of fact, all of these deep underground military bases with humans or non-humans also have access to things like the Pentagon in restricted areas where people can't go. Why do they have access? Because they run it. They run the Pentagon. The military is not coming to save you because they have not been ordered to come and save you. Matter of fact, they've been ordered to come and kill you for 50,000 US dollars a head. It has been like that since the advent of the United States military. Same thing goes for MI6 and UK and CIA and Russian SVR and GRU and the old KGB and China Secret Service and SAS in South Africa and Egypt, and Gaddafi wasn't saving the world. And, you know, all of these places and all of these people are not here to help you in any way. And they're not here to do anything that they're not told to do by something or someone or some AI system somewhere else. So why do we talk so much about, because this is the other thing I've heard too. You know, you're talking about all this stuff, but we need real world information. Well, I'm actually giving you the real world information. You know, I am. That's what's really happening. The fight is not with Trump. I could care less. Orange, apparently dead people have chronic venal insufficiency. Well, all dead people have chronic venal insufficiency. I told you that a few years ago. I don't know who's playing that role, and nor do I care. The only thing I can tell you is that I am not here to help the United States government survive. Because that is not what they're doing. They tell you they're here for the people. We are the people party. Trump's the people. We like the patriots. We like all the things. Why don't you tell that to the thousands of people that followed orders and instructions as patriots that have been sitting in jail for years now? Deny, reassess, blame. Why don't you tell it to all those people that are in jail? Because they showed up in Chewbacca bikinis and stormed the Capitol building, and they were told that they would have protection. They were told that this will not happen. They were paid for their acting role to show up in ridiculous costumes and go to the Capitol building, and they're all in jail. That's your government, guys. Get a grip. Deep underground military bases are also used for traveling. You know, there are certain bases, like, for example, you would think that, oh, these are deep underground military bases. These are these restricted areas with the big fences. What if I told you there's a deep underground military base in nowhere underneath the Kellogg's main factory? What does that say about your food supply? There's some movie out. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a parody about the fight between Post and Kellogg, and they're in the same town or founded in the same town, and something about Pop-Tarts or something. But anyway, I didn't really watch it, but they are underneath that whole thing. Everybody's going back and forth, and there's some really strange machines there that do strange things to food, guys. Really strange things to your food. It's there for that reason. The same thing, goes for all of your other big food suppliers. They have deep underground military bases where the poison is then delivered for us to consume. Tyson factories, all kinds of. Dole in Pakistan is another one. And all of your militaries participate. So the stuff they tell you they're doing, the people that lost their jobs during that couple of years of whatever you want to call it, people yell about chemtrails all the time. There are bigger things at play here. And I say, don't get me wrong, I hate them too. I have essential oils I keep on hand, a little mix I did to prevent the allergies and heavy metals and all kinds of different things, just because I don't want that stuff in my body. But also, you've got to consume food. You got to eat food. Even though it says all organic, is it really? Probably not. And the price has gone up significantly. So what can you do? You can yell at your government. Trump's not what we thought he was. Well, I could have told you that. I told you that years ago, but nobody wanted to believe me because everybody on the internet wants to be a patriot and fight with some orange people. And all they've done is, charge us tariffs. We can't get stuff into this country now. So you know what, guys? The price of everything going up, we are only starting to see the tip of the iceberg. If you want to do something, you will not take out a deep underground military base. You won't do it. I can tell you that because there is junk under there that you don't understand. And if you actually go there and try to storm the place, they will kill you. So, how do you fight what's happening? You create something where you can feed yourself and your community. Where are you going to source flour from? Can you get farmers to sell you grain? Can you create some kind of a small machine to mill the flour if you need to? This is where we're going right now. Because as long as there are SSP people running your governments, which they are, they're trying anyway. God bless their, people. I don't know. There's no disease or mental disorder to what I could call that and pull it off, because then I would be insulting those people with those disorders, because there's nothing. You could pill out schizophrenia or all kinds of mental disorders and try to describe these people, but there's not a word in the English language or probably any other language to describe what's wrong with their head. But if they continue on the path that they're continuing on, which is hunting down portals, I tell them where to go, they go there. Do they see a signal? Sure they do. Thule base in Greenland, again. I keep sending them the same damn place over and over and over again, and they keep running to that place. But the unfortunate part is this is not getting us anywhere. We lure them in. We even, in the last, I'd say 4 or 5 days, we have even drawn out those SOFON bases from other locations back to Earth, and they couldn't get out. We're trying to get rid of them, but I got to tell you, as long as they have hope, which we do sometimes, we give them hope sometimes. We tell them where to go so that we can get them. You tell everybody you are weak when you are strong. Sun Tzu. Oh God, these SSP people are killing me. Are they really? No. You recharge, you reboot, you do what you've got to do to protect yourself. And I've become pretty accustomed to doing that. Do I know that they send frequencies through our Wi-Fi, our cell phones, and all that kind of stuff? Do I know that they have special ones that they try to send to me all the time? Yes, I do. I laugh when the internet goes out and I'm trying to do a live report. So what is it, if I would say there is one thing that the deep state does not want me to tell you, that is, you need to think of this planet as if you own it. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror without ego, please, and say, I am the President of the United States. Now what am I going to do? What is a president of the United States, or the Prime Minister of UK, or the President or Prime Minister of Australia or South Africa? What are they to you? What are they supposed to be to you? And what are you going to do about it? Some of you might look at yourself and say, I'm going to change a law. I'm going to ban taxes. I'm going to ban the IRS. Honey, you are not going to be worried about the IRS and paying taxes when you can't eat. They have told you on their social media, on Twitter, on X, that they want to destroy America. They have said it. This is your Q community. MAGA is gone. We're going to destroy America now. We talked to the script writer, and this is what he told us to do. How far are they going to take it? And how many are there left? And they're recruiting all the time. I actually listened to a recruiting call the other day. They recruit hackers. They recruit people. They tell them how special they are, how amazing they are, and they recruit them to work in these programs. How many people are going to fall for it? Well, it seems to me like a lot of them do. They recruit other people who are doing, YouTube channels and that type of thing to give you all this wonderful information that you deem secret intel, all this other kind of stuff, and so that to distract you from doing what you need to do. We are not that far away, and I can tell you, we can hold them off by sending them around, because you can't kill them all. They just do another recruiting session and everybody thinks it's a great freaking idea. They'll deep into the pockets of the CIA, the NSA, DARPA, young kids in the military, recruit them, soldiers. They go to other countries, do it in other ways and in other places. They threaten people, blackmail people, all kinds of stuff to make them do what they want them to do. Because remember, we are the slaves. We are supposed to work for them in their mind. So we can hold them off and we can keep them going around in a circle to a day ending in Y, because it's working. All you got to do is tap into some AI system and an old comm line and be like, I am Lucifer. They like that. I am Lucifer. And project a hologram or something like that on a holographic phone, like the ones they have in Greenland at that base. You have been chosen to wait until August 1st. Ooh, when I shall return. It's funny, but it works every time. You can drive these people around in circles, over and over and over again. And they just fall for it every time. You just can't be me. Like if it's me that calls, then they're like, and hang up the phone. But they'll listen to insert character here, that they like. They like those people. Okay, we'll do this one today. But it's not going to last for a long time. Everything is starting to really fall apart. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to, but it really is falling apart. Governments are falling apart. They are using operatives, giving them fake bonds and fake cash and traders and bankers, fake cash, and promises of days ending in Y. I believe the next day, today was one of those days, everybody went crazy for a while, yelling and screaming, blah, blah, blah. You know, it was supposed to be July 1st, and it was the 15th, and, you know, now, I don't know. I heard it's the 27th or 28th, but you and I both know when you don't have that unlimited Federal Reserve checkbook, like they say, you can put up a website and give all the numbers that you want to, but that is not going to last for a long time. So, on that note, if I were to say one thing to you, what should you focus on? We give you the information. We give you the real-time information. Why? I'm not trying to sell myself here or anything like that, but I give you what's really going on, and then you're seeing it play out in the mainstream media. I tell you before it happens. Sometimes it comes out in the mainstream media, sometimes it doesn't. They certainly don't want to prove me right sometimes, but it's true. So, I don't mean to dash your hopes, and I don't mean to make you upset if you are a patriot, you know, and you happen to be watching this. But the one thing you can count on is yourself and God, the Creator, whatever you call that being up there. That's two. You know, it's one thing I've learned throughout my life, and I know that's, you know, terrible to say, but it's the only things that have never been wrong. You know, I do have some good friends and some family, but, you know, for the most part, I don't really talk to a whole lot of people about this, what I do every day. And I try to be normal, you know, have lunch and do things whenever I get a chance, but it has been a rarity in the last several months. But I would tell you, it is the time to plan. It's the time to plan in your communities. It's the time to figure out how to lower the price of food, how to lower the price of clothing, how to lower the price of goods in your country, especially in America, because this is target number one. And if America goes, everybody else will go as a byproduct. You know, they've promised Elon Musk he's going to be the head of the New World Order. And that would be a government that you would see in the face front with him as the president. President of the world. Yeah, that'll probably never ever happen. Anyway, on that note, on this larger platform, take care of you, take care of your family, take care of yourselves. We will keep you informed along the way as to what's really happening. And let's hope we can figure out a way to at least neuter these people before they cause any major damage at this point. So, on that note, that's been the GIA report. And I will see all of you in just a little bit on the app for Q&A.